everyone, welcome to the Psychology Podcast, where I explore the challenges we often face in our 20s, their psychological background, and how to navigate them. The goal is to better understand ourselves, our emotions, identity, personality, relationships, and the way our brains work, and in turn to better understand others. So, my name is Paula, and I'm a psychology student at the University of Amsterdam. I'm in my 20s myself. I'm not a professional psychologist, just so you know. And this isn't any professional guidance. I'm just exploring the journey of figuring things out myself and sharing what I'm learning along the way. So Halloween just passed, and for many of us that meant costumes, maybe parties, candy, and it got me thinking about why humans actually enjoy fear. Like why we seek out haunted houses, horror movies, thrill rides, even when they make our hearts race. And in this episode, we are going to dive into what happens in our brains, what's the deal with fear, and how it impacts our brains so that we feel like it's fun. Also, why some people love these scary experiences more than others. So the first question I asked myself was, why do we hunt for scary experiences when danger usually feels bad? And there's this review in Frontiers Psychology, which published that people seek out scary experiences, like watching horror movies, for example, for various psychological reasons, including sensation seeking and the thrill of experiencing fear in a controlled environment. And these sensation seekers, so people who crave these intense and new experiences, they often find horror movies and other scary activities appealing because they provide a safe way to experience fear without real danger. And our brains can react to both real danger and imagined danger in similar ways. Our hearts race, our muscles tense. This happens because the amygdala, a key part of the brain's fear system, reacts to perceived threats, whether they are really there or just imagined. So is to protect us, just in case. So when watching a horror movie, the amygdala can be triggered and responses such as heart racing, muscles tension happen. And this area of the brain coordinates with others like hypothalamus, thalamus, ACC to initiate the fight, flight, freeze response. And this response is evolutionarily designed to prepare our bodies for either confrontation, so the fight, or escape, so the flight, out of the danger, which is an ever-present mechanism, but one triggered by horror movies as efficiently as by real threats. Okay, so I'm quite a simple thinker, so now my question was, okay, if we experience this fight-flight response while, let's say, watching horror movies, why don't we escape from the cinema after a jump scare or, I don't know, like try to punch the screen, attack the scary thing which is in front of us, which we are watching, right? Because we either fight or we flight. And here there are two psychological concepts that are central to explain this. The first concept is safe fear, which is experiencing fear in places that are objectively safe, like watching a horror movie in a cinema, riding a roller coaster, or engaging in play fighting. So the brain's threat responses system, amygdala and other related parts, they are activated, causing physical arousal, so heart racing, muscle tension. But the conscious mind recognizes that there is no true threat. So it's just a movie and it's safe. So we can say that in case of horror movies, our cognitive systems maintain a kind of distance from the fictional events that are happening on screen. The second concept is cognitive reappraisal. And it's a strategy in which a person changes the way they think about the situation to change its emotional impact. So when we again consider the example of watching a horror movie, we use these cognitive reappraisals, which can be unconscious, to remind ourselves that it's just a movie, or it's just a game, so it's safe. I'm safe on my couch, which diminishes real fear and prevents this escape or fight response. So this explains why, although we are afraid of a movie or some other experience, some physiological responses happen, and we don't attempt to fight or flight in these situations. Now, another question is why people enjoy these scary experiences like horror movies, but also extreme sports, or it could be other fear-inducing activity. It's not only the horror movies. So it turns out that there is an interaction between the brain sphere circuitry, primarily amygdala, and the regulatory areas, which are primarily the prefrontal cortex, alongside activation of reward system. So when a person experiences fear in a controlled setting, as we previously mentioned, safe fear, studies show our brains release several neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that brain cells use to communicate with each other in simple terms. And one key neurotransmitter is dopamine, which helps control motivation, reward, and our actions. It can be seen as a pleasure transmitter because it's involved in how we feel pleasure. At the same time, when we feel scared, also adrenaline, endorphins, and cortisol get released. So now this adrenaline, which is part of fight, flight, freeze response, gets combined with dopamine and endorphins, which are both involved in pleasure. And the result is that we mix fear with pleasure. So we turn this scary experience into something fun. As one article nicely put it, danger involves risk assessment, and if you come out the other end having survived the risk, you feel good about it. So you feel good about having survived the experience. So now the next question that I asked myself was, do all humans enjoy being scared, or are there some personality traits that can predict who enjoys scary experiences? And the answer is that not all humans enjoy being scared. There are individual differences rooted in personality traits, which can significantly predict who finds scary experiences pleasurable and who finds them rather distressing. Recent research has referred to 3 types of horror fans: adrenaline junkies, white knucklers, and dark copers. Each has different motivations and benefits derived from scary experiences. So the first type, adrenaline junkies, actively seek high arousal, fear-inducing experiences as a source of excitement and mood elevation, and they score high on sensation seeking. Then there are white knucklers who seek these scary experiences for personal growth despite anxiety-induced. And these people, these white knucklers, they may report high levels of stress after the scary experience, perhaps nightmares. And unlike adrenaline junkies who pursue horror for excitement and mood boost, white knucklers engage with horror to learn something about themselves. So they really just would watch a horror movie to grow personally, to learn something about the human condition, and in turn about themselves. And this group is a bit less researched than other, so I won't go very deeply into it. Another interesting predictor of whether someone likes scary experiences can be morbid curiosity. And this term, morbid curiosity, is the tendency to be drawn toward information or experiences involving death, violence, threat. So individuals high in morbid curiosity are more likely to approach rather than avoid the scary content. And the third category, dark copers, represents people who use fear experiences for emotion regulation and coping with anxiety rather than just thrill-seeking. These findings highlight not everyone enjoys being scared. For some people, especially those who score high in neuroticism or low in sensation-seeking and morbid curiosity, scary experiences are more likely to provoke distress rather than pleasure. So let's end this episode with some findings from my favorite field, social psychology. There is solid scientific evidence that sharing intense, fearful experiences like watching a horror movie with someone can increase feelings of closeness, group identification, and companionship. Although Context and relationship also matter here. So sharing fear with close friends or a partner is more likely to increase this feeling of closeness than being forced into a frightening situation with strangers. So the effects don't seem to be universal. So experiencing fear together can trigger a tend and befriend response, which releases oxytocin and encourages social support and bonding. So next time you're looking for a fun way to connect with your friends or your partner, you can consider gathering your friends or the partner for a scary movie night. And who knows, maybe sharing those screams and nervous laughs during the movie can boost feelings of closeness, like some research has shown, and make your bonds even stronger. Okay guys, so that will be all for today. This is a special episode which is post-Halloween, so I think it's a little bit shorter, but that's also because I've been studying for exams and I haven't had that much time to prepare. And when I prepare, I want to really make sure that I gather reliable sources and not just anything, so it does take time and effort. But I do hope you learned something new and enjoyed it anyways, and see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening.